Well, this week on This Just In, the show that sounds like a news show, but it isn't a news show, just a show of me talking to people that I find interesting. We have Charlotte Stokely. Am I saying that last name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got Charlotte Stokely. She is the winner of 15 awards across the adult film industry, an AVN Hall of Famer, certified health coach, and certified sex educator. Welcome to This Just In.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely introduction.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start with what everybody's wondering. We'll talk about the industry. So let's go ahead and talk about how long have you been in the industry, first off?
Oh, you're going to start it off with how old I am? Come on. Long enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
There we go. That is actually a perfect answer. Perfect answer. Way better than, and I usually say this at the beginning of all of my interviews. All of my questions come from a clear point of inadequacy of knowledge and never to insult anybody. So I'll get that disclaimer out now.
Okay.
What made you initially get into or think about getting into the industry?
Well, I've always loved being in front of a camera, performing, acting. I've always loved just flaunting it. I've been curious about sexuality my whole entire life, including all functions of the human body, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual, metaphysical, sexual, nutritional. I love the human body, and what better place to express my love for my body and other people's bodies than in the adult entertainment industry.
Yeah, it definitely is a celebration of the human form, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you've kind of hit it already that you're not just an adult performer, you are a health coach, you're a sex educator. So let's kind of talk a little bit about that. Where did the drive for becoming like a certified health coach come from? Like, what were the things that you wanted to know about the human body to be able to help others with?
Okay, so I used to be a holistic healer for 6 years. And what that means is I specialized in reversing diseases using nutrients. Every illness in the body is an imbalance, and I would dedicate my time to my clients of finding that balance in their body and reversing whatever it was that ailed them. And that really fueled a curiosity fire of just how can I help people? And there are a few things in this life, if not anything, more rewarding than helping someone. And that just, yeah, I'm very empathic. So I care very much about people. And every time I would help someone feel better, it just made me want to do more. And I couldn't maintain my holistic career with my adult career because I ended up getting contracted with some companies full time. And I took a hiatus and I said, one day I'm going to go back to school. And in 2019, I enrolled to be an integrative nutrition health coach and did online schooling while at the peak of my career. I enrolled before I got the Hall of Fame and before I earned probably like 8 of my Performer of the Year awards. So I'm a damn good multitasker. I'll just tell you that. And so
Clearly.
getting the health coach certification was important to me because sometimes I feel like, especially in the Western society of the United States, even if you have the right knowledge, people won't accept it unless you're certified.
Mm-hmm.
And that's understandable. So I thought, I've been in this industry for a while. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, and I'd really like to not let my massive amount of knowledge of the human body go to waste. And I want to work with sex workers on how they can be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. And being a health coach kind of ties all that in. And with my experience in the adult industry, I could relate to them, understand them, not judge them, and really give them a chance to open up about how they can help themselves, because I believe we already know the answer.
Mhm.
I feel like being a health coach is honestly a lot of listening
Yeah.
and asking high mileage questions that get people to say, yeah, I'm really tired, but I just I love drinking 6 Red Bulls a day. And I'm like, "Eh, there's you figured it out. You did that all by yourself."
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently in the midst of a weight loss journey that is started about 4 years ago. Had a bunch of like, peaks and valleys, and then I hit an all-time peak in a bad way last year when I was tipping the scales right around 400 pounds, got diagnosed with diabetes. And so now I'm 50, I think I'm actually like 55 pounds down as of this morning.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and yeah, it really is stuff that you all like, everybody knows. Like I had Ralph Sutton, a guy who runs the sex, drugs, and rock and roll show, on a couple weeks ago, and he put out a book on Amazon called Ralph Sutton's Guide to Losing Weight, and it says page 1 is exercise more, and page 2 is eat less. And that is a big part of it. Is like, oh, why am I tipping the scales at 400 pounds when oh wait, okay, I eat out a lot. I don't exercise as much as I should. I am, I have unhealthy eating time frames and things like that. And it is all stuff that, and like having somebody to talk it over with really does help. And I think that kind of, even beyond just health coach, I think like that's how I work with my professional development coach and things like that. Is like, it's all stuff that, deep down. It's just, you got to have somebody with the insight to ask those poignant questions and to give, subtle feedback to like kind of like help you uncover those answers, because you do know them. And that's actually really cool. I didn't realize that you worked in the adult industry with your health coach platform. So that's really fascinating to me, because I was reading, when I say reading, I mean, I was probably watching a YouTube video or something to that effect. And I had heard that the average life expectancy for somebody in the industry is 37 years old. And
I
I
saw
think,
that floating around, and I'm sorry, I don't completely believe that.
yeah, I get that. And I can see how it could have been picked, but there's a decent amount of, how do you say, early exits from life, and the people are in porn. And I do think that it is interesting that you're working with these people, because I think, everybody has their demons. Everybody's got their
Oh
demons.
yeah.
And I think that it's really cool that you're out there, and you already said you're an empathetic person who just loves to help people. And there's clearly a need for that, just in every industry. And for you to be able to be that in the adult industry, I think that's actually really cool. So
Thank you.
kudos.
I also have like some sort of extremely exciting but extremely nervous news to say. Today in less than 3 hours. So there's an organization, a nonprofit organization called Cupcake Girls, and what they do is they give support to sex workers of all fields of work, whether it be webcamming, strip club, escort, etc., and also support for sex trafficking victims, whether you're a sex worker or not. And I've been a community activator with them for the past year, and the CEO asked me to apply to be an unofficial board member of like the largest nonprofit sex worker
Nice.
support organization. And I have my official final interview with the entire board for today. So I'm like, oh, I'm so excited and I'm so nervous. But with my experience in the adult industry, because I've been in all those walks of sex work careers, webcamming, I worked in strip clubs and things like that. So I feel like I'm really gonna help. I'm gonna help more people. I'm gonna have a much larger reach, specifically in the sex work industry, and that just makes me so happy. So wish me luck.
Oh yeah, definitely wishing you luck. I mean, everybody that's watching this is watching this after the fact, so they're sending you congratulations vibes. So,
Yay! True.
but
I
that's
do want to say one thing.
yeah.
One of the greatest pieces of advice for weight loss is to eat right according to your blood type.
Oh yeah, really?
Different
Okay.
blood types digest different foods differently. So what's good for a blood type A may not be good for a blood type O. And that's actually really important to learn because certain foods, your body sees it as an invader and tries to attack it. And all these cells come and start attacking it. And what happens is it starts making your blood really thick. And when
Okay.
your blood's thick, you can't carry your nutrients, you can't carry your oxygen. It messes up everything. It causes inflammation in the body. So I highly suggest eating right for your blood type. And we can talk more about that on the side if you'd like.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll
For
definitely
free.
pick your brain on that. Like that's actually, I had never heard the eating according to your blood type. I've heard like different, like 23andMe has like their own thing that they push, and there's different companies that say, yeah, spit into this vial, we'll tell you how to eat. But I've never heard about it broke down by blood type, and I think that's actually really cool.
It's highly effective and it changed my life.
I'm definitely.
That's also how I look so young. That's my secret.
Well, you
Because
look so young because you are so young.
my cells don't age because I don't do anything that causes them to age within my abilities of nutrition.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a terrible, terrible moment. I was gonna ask a question. It was right there, and then just disappeared. I didn't take my alpha brain fast enough. I meant to take it 30 minutes before the podcast, and it was like 2 minutes till, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot the alpha brain. No. And so it'll my ability to form sentences will kick in about probably another 15 minutes or so.
Woo, can't wait.
But back to the industry, and you kind of touched on it with the Cupcake Girls and like how they support all aspects of sex workers and things like that. I actually kind of want to ask your thoughts on OnlyFans. Like, how has that really changed the industry? Because it went from being exclusively to people who were exclusively on only OnlyFans, and then it expanded last year to include many sex workers. So I kind of want to like pick your brain on that. Like, how do you think that was? Do you think that it's a good platform moving forward? And do you think that it does give the performers more control in their careers?
Okay. High mileage question. I personally use OnlyFans. I think it's fantastic. I've been in the industry long enough to see all the different trends and phases and changes that have happened. We were still putting porn on VHS when I started. So just to give you an idea, I've seen the ebbs and tides of this industry. And back in the day, the girls would have their own website, like, charlottestokely.com. And then we would pay for a credit card processing company, and we'd pay for someone to design it and hopefully have back-end access. And we would run our own sites.
Mm-hmm.
But not very many stars did that because it's a pain in the ass. And what's great about OnlyFans is it's already an established, verified website, and they handle all the billing for you. They've made it very easy to just update things, upload, name your price, and push send. It's so easy to use, and it's not just for sex workers. OnlyFans, I could create an OnlyFans specifically for health coaching, and I could post daily meditations and health recipes. So OnlyFans is not just for sex workers. And unfortunately, Instagram and Facebook and some of they're all family companies, same talk, right?
Yeah.
They won't let us say the word OnlyFans. You can't do hashtag OnlyFans. You can't put your OnlyFans link in your bio because they're discriminating towards sex workers, even though like I just signed up Deadmau5 to OnlyFans, and he's not doing sex work. So can he put OnlyFans in his bio or no? And it's
But let's be honest, a lot of people would pay to see that. The big hat going on. I think that there'd be some people willing to pay for that.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know what platforms this is going on. So I'm trying not to say that word.
Fuck, piss, shit, cunt. I mean, whatever you want to say. This is a free speech zone.
The Free speech, safe zone. Got it. So I love OnlyFans. It gives us freedom to work from home or basically anywhere we have the internet. And that really honestly truly like saved lives during the pandemic when we could no longer go on set.
Mhm.
And even like girls that dance at the strip clubs, they couldn't go dance at the strip club, and girls who escorted, they couldn't see clients, and people weren't flying in or flying out. And if it wasn't for OnlyFans, I can very strongly say there are a lot of girls who would not have been able to pay their rent or put food in their bellies. So OnlyFans is amazing in the aspect that it gave us the freedom to not only make money from home, but to also choose the content that we do. Because when you're in the industry and you have an agent, they're like, okay, so now do you agree to work on the 12th for this much doing this type of scene? And then you get there and it's like there's a script, and maybe the script kind of hits home and you don't really want to do it. And you're already on set. So what do you do? You're like, all right, I guess I'll do it. I don't want to be the problematic person. I don't want to not get hired by this company again. So OnlyFans gives us the ability to be in 100% control of the type of content we put out, the quality that we want it to. We can wear what we want, we can say what we want, and we can perform with other talent that we choose as well. So big fan of the freedom OnlyFans has provided.
That's actually really cool, because that is something that like people don't think about, is that, everybody in porn isn't making the same amounts of money and things like that. And so like you could have somebody who is, making that like $100,000 a year, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And like,
Yeah.
just like with anybody that was making that kind of money. And then like I honestly was so lucky and, blessed, whatever you want to say it. Like the pandemic didn't affect me. I took a pay cut for about a month and a half. And that's literally all that it affected me. And that's great. But there are so many other people, specifically in, not only adult entertainment, but entertainment in general. And the fact that you guys were able to kind of like huddle around this company that was able to support you guys, that's actually really cool. And I kind of want to touch on the discrimination part that you're talking about between the big three, as I call it. I say big three. That's the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But you were saying that it was mostly the Facebook umbrella that's keeping you guys out. Is that right?
Yeah, Twitter is less intense. Instagram and Facebook are just so quick to penalize you and delete your account. I have friends that they're on their 7th Instagram account at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit, I will say they were posting some sort of naughty stuff. So I say follow the rules, read the TOS. They update the TOS all the time. Continue to just follow the rules. If you want to not follow the rules, make your own platform. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But however, even if you do follow the rules, you still get discriminated against. I haven't posted nudity on Twitter since 2014, and I'm shadow banned hard, like super hard, which like I try to keep my Twitter classy. I never say anything negative. It's always positive, but like I'm still in trouble because I'm Charlotte Stokely. And that kind of sucks because that's how we promote ourselves, is with social media.
Yeah.
And that's how we connect with the fans. And connecting with a fan is the most important part of this career. Is people want human interaction. And some of my fans, they don't even care about the sex stuff. They love me for my personality.
Yeah.
And they're looking for someone to talk to during the pandemic. And that's great. I love that. But if they can't search my name because I'm shadow banned, it's kind of rude.
No, I don't want to get political by any means, but do you think that we're going to be reaching a point in the near future where the idea of shadow banning kind of disappears? Like we kind of seem to be reaching a point where, I have a friend, Sam Johnson. He's a musician out in San Francisco, and he had a music video called Monsters on TV. And the video was taken, or the song was taken away from Spotify because the video was too quote unquote political, because it had two people, one in the blue tie and one in the red tie, debating each other on TV. And so we see things like that. but then there are, additional different artists that kind of like lean heavy into the controversial aspect of things, and that you don't see the same thing. So I wonder if we're starting to get to a point where the more that you speak up and ask to be treated the same as everybody else, I think that we are closer to equality among everybody for like these aspects of, talking about, not being discriminated against for your choice of profession. I think that is going to be coming to an end as it becomes more known. So I want to thank you for talking about it, because that's the only way that things like that ever change, is like talking about the things that are happening that are messed up, because that is messed up. Like there's no reason, like you said it yourself, you follow the rules, you be
Yeah.
positive. Like there's no reason there should be any kind of shadow or actual any kind of ban like that. So I hope that Mark Zuckerberg is listening to this. I'm pretty sure he's a weekly listener. So we'll see what we can do.
Well, also keep in mind, sometimes it's not the head of the company. I'm not saying he's a great person. I am saying sometimes it's Visa.
Mm.
Visa has very strict rules. And if you use Visa, because Facebook sells things, and if Visa is one of their vendors, Visa can say no. And then now all of Facebook has to say no. So
Wow.
it's a very interesting web.
Yeah, very multiple levels for sure. I'm going to take a step back real fast. You mentioned back in the day when, people, sex workers or people in the industry were making their own websites and things like that. Did you guys have issues with finding payment processors? Because I know that that's kind of the entire reason that payment processing on the internet happened in the first place was because of porn. But I wonder, because I work in the marijuana industry, and so it's so many loopholes when it comes to money and whatnot. Was that a difficulty that you guys saw in that time?
At the time, there was only one company really that would accept credit card billing, and that was CC Bill. And it was very expensive. It was like $1,000 if you want to accept Visa, and another 1,000 if you wanted to also accept MasterCard. And that kind of added up a bit.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention the chunk they take out of every single payment.
Yeah, there may have been fees involved as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that still exists today, but now years later, there are other credit card billing companies. I think Paxum is a big one used in the industry if someone wants to make their own website.
Nice.
But yeah, porn has been a leading pioneer in the frontier of technology.
Oh yeah, the
And
only reason that we use Blu-rays was because porn black Blu-ray back in like 2005, I think it is.
yeah, people didn't want to have to rewind their VHS tape. They wanted to skip to the next chapter. Like, yeah. Porn greatly led the DVD and Blu-ray frontier. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like I always made the joke back in the day that like if you want to see where technology is going to advance in the next 5 years, look at what porn's doing right now, and
And we're
other
doing
industries will follow.
VR.
Yeah, like I think that porn is going to be what causes VR to jump, because right now it's like at that cusp where it's right here and there's a big chasm right that they're at the foot of, and it's going to be something that pushes it over. And I think that history says that if anybody can push that jump over that chasm, it's going to be porn.
Well, we shall see how the legal system progresses.
How I didn't prep you for this question at all, but how is VR porn like in the recording? Is it more different from the standard POV style of recording, or is it a
Yeah.
little more expensive?
It's more complicated. It depends on the rig. Are you shooting just straight from a camera? Are you trying to do like a 360 thing? Like, is it a POV that the person can look this way but not behind? Or is it a 360 thing where you can turn and look completely around the room? And the technology's been getting better and better. for sure. Like when we first started, it was like a bunch of GoPros taped together in like an hexagonal shape, and you couldn't bump the tripod. And if you bumped the tripod, we had to start all over again. I remember I actually started a VR porn company that we had to dissolve because my business partner was going through a divorce, and his bride wanted to take half the company, so we had to close it down, unfortunately. But so I've been involved with the beginning stages of mocap and capture in VR. But yeah, as the first porn scene I shot for VR was like 3 or 4 GoPros connected on a tripod, and it was a like 8-girl orgy. And sometime during the orgy, someone, won't name names, wasn't me, kicked the tripod. And so what happens is when they're watching through the viewing thing, that just means the whole room just went like this.
Yeah.
We had to completely start over.
Oh man.
From the beginning. Because
it's a whole lot of orgy because of one bump.
Such a bummer, right? Oh my God. Like, worst day ever.
Yeah. We had to do the orgy twice today. Oh, it was so horrible.
But I can say that I just won an award for best VR sex scene. With VR Bangers. XBiz awarded it. And it's amazing because the scene was in competition against boy-girl scenes, like hardcore boy-girl and a girl-girl scene. Because I only do girl-girl. I don't do anything other than stuff with girls. Oh,
trust me, I've done my research.
You are a great interviewer. And so, and the scene won against like all these other amazing, talented performers doing way crazier things than we were. And I'm just very honored. Yeah. I'm very excited about that. I think it's that 3rd or 4th one. It's one of those 2.
Is that the one that you're most proud of right now?
Well, I'd have to say I'm most proud of being in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, that makes
sense. AVN Hall of Fame, because that, first of all, you have to be in at least 10 years to even be eligible, and to maintain and also continue to grow, not just be complacent, but to continue to thrive in this adult industry all these years later is a massive accomplishment. It's I never thought I would make it this far.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be in the Hall of Fame and the #1 lesbian performer in the world. And I've won Performer of the Year 12 times. 11 of those were consecutive, which has never been done before in the history of porn. And honestly, I don't think anyone will ever beat my record. In the future. I'm
sweating now. I'm
sweating too.
I was nervous coming into this, but now I'm even more nervous.
What? Why are you so nervous?
No, it's just like that is really cool. Like it's like I've known a lot of people and I've talked with a lot of people, but I have to say you are the most accomplished.
I mean, be good or be good at it.
Yeah, like that. You said it right there. Now you said that you exclusively do girl on girl. Is that all
or
because
girl under girl?
Or girl under girl, girl next to girl. Well, if there was 7, then we got to go girl on girl, under girl, under girl, on girl, under girl. I think I did 7 there, but is that because you, like me, find I have find that. So let me form this statement a little bit better before I say it, because
you like the boobies.
I do like the boobies, but I can acknowledge when there's an attractive male form. But I gotta say that, there's something more elegant about the female form. And is that kind of what has fueled that decision for you?
I love women. I've always loved women. I've dated women. I've been engaged to a woman. I love women, and I love pleasing them. I'm more of a giver than a receiver. Like I'd rather give than receive. Plus, it's kind of hard to find people that are good at eating pussy. You think it wouldn't be so hard, but oh my God, I need to start teaching classes, seriously. But
follow up on
yeah,
that one with the sex educator.
I super love women, but since you did just mention sex educator, I will say I do like men as well. I'm more on the women's side. And as a sex educator, I didn't want to perform with penis havers because I did not want to become irresponsibly pregnant.
Mm. Okay.
And
Is that a common issue?
if you have sex, if you have a uterus and a penis goes inside it and ejaculates, you are at risk of being pregnant.
Damn. See, that's my problem.
So like every time you watch a cream pie scene in porn.
So they don't have like a vacuum for after that.
Clinically, yes, they do. Not on set. That's not gonna, I don't think that will ever be OSHA approved.
As I said it, as it came out of my mouth, I was like, "Oh,
You were
such
like,
an idiot."
please, no words, come back, bring the word. It's okay.
The world went into slow motion. I saw them leaving my mouth, going to the microphone, and then coming out your speakers. I was like, "Oh no!"
He done did it. This just in.
That's yeah, man. Yeah, this show is mostly just about people tuning in to watch me make an idiot out of myself. So, and I'm okay with that. So it's, you know, it's all for the content.
Like I said, be good or be good at it.
Damn right. So
yeah, so I prefer women, and I also do not want to be pregnant with someone that I'm not in a relationship with.
and the best way to do that is just smash box. I get it. Is that politically correct to say smash box? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I don't
cool.
mind it.
Cool.
I'm hard to offend anyways. I have too much compassion to be upset with people. So you could say anything you wanted.
Yeah, I actually have that same issue where so I did this personality test for my job. The
one with the 4 letters, like the INJF thing.
No, this one is it's a strength assessment where it kind of like it grades you on like most utilized by you all the way to least utilized by you, and there's like 38 or 34 different traits. And empathy is my second one. So like I totally get that. Like every time that somebody does something bad to me, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, wait a minute, why did I just apologize? But yeah, so I wanted to touch on when you're talking about exclusively girl on girl, who are some of your favorite co-stars?
Hey, Tyson. Hey, Thumper. I have a very large dog and we have hardwood floors. And so when he scratches himself, he is basically thumping on the ground. Okay. So girls you'll see me work with most on my OnlyFans are Kenna James and Aiden Ashley. Those 2 women, we make the sex very well.
Yeah, and that's
and I'm trying to get Adria Fox to shoot with me as well, because she's one of my favorites, and Abigail Mack is also very good. Yeah, there's just, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that list is actually really long.
so, like this is about 20. Do we have the time for that?
Yeah, and there's new girls every day, so.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So if this one, I didn't let you prep for this question either, because it just kind of flowed into my brain. So I'm throwing it at you. If there is a young girl who they want to be, you know, obviously they can't be the next Charlotte Stokely because there is not going to be another Charlotte Stokely, but they wanted to, you know, go in and give it their all, what would be some advice that you would give them?
Okay. I will say I have never once recruited anyone into this industry.
Oh, really?
I have never scouted. I've never recruited. This industry is not just about having sex and fun. It is one of the most laborious jobs in the world. It's physically challenging. We are athletes, essentially. You have to have that cardio going. You've got to be strong to hold positions, blah, blah, blah. And it also can take a toll on you spiritually, depending on how sensitive you are. It's believed by some that you absorb energy of the people that you're around, and when you're having sex, that is one of the strongest transfers of energy. And you might end up having sex with someone that you really just don't vibe with, and their energy is dark and gross, and then you kind of take that home with you, like you take these little thumbprints of everyone you meet in life. And that's so there's that. There's also the fact that it is very highly stigmatized. You will face a lot of discrimination if you try to leave the industry. It is very difficult to find a normal job because people will know that you did that. You will have people coming into your workplace. Your coworkers will find out. It can be more difficult to date people once whether you are in it still or after you leave, based off of their personal preferences with relationships and sex. And also your family is going to see it, and people you grew up with, and the bishop from your church, and it will never disappear. Even if you shoot one scene, it will never disappear. It takes one person to put it in an email and send it to everybody, and then it's viral on Reddit. So my biggest advice to anyone that wants to enter this industry, come on camera, refocus, is think about it for a minute before you do it. Don't do it to get back at an ex. Don't do it because you're depressed and you want people to pay attention to you because you think it'll make you feel better. Don't do it if you have any doubts whatsoever, and that applies to everything in life. When in doubt, go without. Should I send that email? Should I park there? If you have a doubt, don't do it. That being said, if you have decided, you've got the gusto, you've got the strength, you have the mental capacity to be a business owner, because you are also in charge of your own marketing. You have to create the business. There's tons of social media platforms you have to maintain. You have emails 24. This is a 24/7 job. You have to go to bed at a certain time. You have to wake up at a certain time. You can't eat certain foods because it'll affect your career. And so if you're willing to make that step, I highly suggest, if you want to shoot on set, you find an agent, because they will help be the middleman to protect you. And some agents are great and some agents are bad. If anyone wants to know, you can message me on Twitter or Instagram. Twitter at @Char_Stokely, Instagram Charlotte Stokely. And all I will do is simply just tell you the name of an agent that I have worked with and I feel like they're ethical. But I will not encourage you or discourage you. That is up to you.
I think that without giving like a lot of advice, you actually gave a lot of advice.
Yeah. And I mean, that really just applies to everything in life, make sure this is what you want to do. And yeah. And if you have doubts, don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I had to go through that when I live in Colorado, so it's not as stigmatized here at all, but making the decision to go exclusively into the cannabis industry was a big decision, because I was raised very Mormon and my family is not the biggest fan of the choice of it, but it also allows me to kind of be an ambassador for something that I believe in. And so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I think that Charlotte really hit the nail on the head. Like, whenever you're thinking about anything, like don't go to law school if you don't want to be a lawyer. Don't go to a medical school to be a doctor, because if you're going to do that and you don't want to be a doctor and you go through the time, you're going to be a really shitty doctor. And
you're going to be miserable.
you're going to be miserable. The people that interact with you, the people that you work with, the people that you're helping, like they're all going to feel that. And like, that's not going to be good for anything. So I'm going to, hold on. I take notes when I talk with people, because I like to get the little bits that I'm like, oh, I never thought about like really thinking about it that way. But
That's why it's so important to have conversations with people, and all different kinds of people, all different ages. Like I love having older friends, and I love just listening in on conversations of like older people, because they have more wisdom sometimes from experience, or they've reached a moment in their life that I haven't yet experienced. And I'm like, that's really good to know. So when I get there, I have a little bit more of an understanding.
oh yeah, and that's why I do this. Like I love the communicating with different people, and just like from totally separate walks of life. Like I've gotten like through this podcast and like my previous podcast, when I've gotten to interact with people that I would never have had the opportunity if it wasn't for having a microphone in front of my face and being able to take it and then broadcast that out. And so then what becomes something that I'm learning becomes something that 5 people are learning, 10 people are learning, 20, 30, 40, and it just goes on, and it gets, spread around like wildfire. And I think that, and we're about to get deep and philosophical. I think that that's the key to a lot of the issues, and like not getting political, but just, I mean, issues in general, is
Lack of
about
communication.
lack of communication, lack of understanding, lack of the, opposing fields of
Different
view. And
perspectives.
it really is. And being able to have these conversations, not just me, like everybody that has a podcast and is like having these conversations with different people, like I think that it's going to be the catalyst for like a higher intelligence and a higher understanding in general, like over the long span. I think that we're in like this like cocoon right now, that podcasting and like content making in general is like a cocoon, and we're going to hit a point where the cocoon breaks, and something else is going to come out of it. I don't know what it is. I get high a lot and I think about it, and so I have my theories. But I just there's just something to hick kid from a small town in Arizona talking with you and getting to kind of see like how you have navigated life and become this hugely successful person in your field, like that can transfer from you to me to a listener just by some little pieces of advice.
Well, that's what's so great about a joint. You could take it to some place with a group of random people of all different walks of life and ages, and you pull it out and they all sit down together.
Yep.
It unites you.
Yeah. Waiting for that weed sponsorship to come through.
Oh, very cool.
So we got that. Sorry, I hit a lull and I had to look at my notes real fast. So, what is it that a sex educator does?
Well, thank you for asking. Inform non-biased answers to questions involving sex and sexual hygiene and sexual desires.
What?
The reason
Oh, go ahead.
The reason I became a certified sex educator, which I graduated, I did that in that 2019. Fans would daily message me asking, I want to try anal sex for the first time. What do you think about this? Or, hey, so this is, there's something weird going on. Is that normal? And so on and so forth. And I wanted my words to have more weight and more validity.
Mm-hmm.
So I not only am like a sex worker, like, oh yeah, honey, I've seen that a million times. Just listen to tutorial, you're fine. I wanted to be able to learn the implicit model. I wanted to learn how to actively listen and create a safe space without cheerleading and things like that. You know, where someone says like, well, I want to try anal sex for the first time. Don't derail the situation. Go, oh, I've had anal sex a bunch of times. Like, keep it about them. Inform them about, the anus is not self-lubricating. You're going to need lots of lube. Use this type of lube for this type of toy. As always, communicate with your partner or partners or whatever. Learn boundaries, what you do want to do, what you don't want to do. And also teach people that it's okay in the middle of sex to get up and go, I got to go pee. And just go pee and come back and continue. It's fine. It's fine.
Have you
Things
been
like,
peering into my sex life? Because it sounds too familiar.
oh, honey, I always gotta pee. Well, here's the interesting thing. I don't know if this is everyone, but for myself personally, I cannot have an orgasm if I have to pee. So if I'm having sex, I'm like, and I want to have an orgasm, I'm like, hold up, be right back. You don't have to announce what you're doing, just I'll be back. Would you like some water? I'll be back, and come back with a glass of water and you've peed and everything's great.
No, we share something else in common. I'm the same way, exact same way. I'm always afraid that if I do orgasm when I need to pee, that it's just going to be pee, and that nobody's going to be happy about that.
I've had that concern as well. These are basic. This is a common human question.
And it's so funny how you're told your whole life, or at least mine, like I said, raised Mormon, very different. I had a strange relationship with sex like throughout most of my life. And you're kind of taught that it's a bad thing, and then you realize that it's not a bad thing, and then you realize it's a good thing, but then like letting go of that like built-in like bias of thinking that it's a bad thing. Like I can't tell you how long it took me till like I was like comfortable having sex in general. Like it was weird. It was very weird because I carried that, like what they say, the Catholic guilt. I carried that with me every single time. And it was one of those things. And it's a very strange thing to feel guilty and not guilty at the same time about the exact same activity. And I don't know how to explain it other than that, because that's exactly how I felt. Like I felt bad. And then I also felt like you shouldn't feel bad. You're not doing anything wrong. Like you're being natural. You're being smart. Like, like you're doing everything to the best of your ability. Like you don't need to hate yourself for being a sexual being. Is that something that other people say to you, or am I the only one? I'm trying to get a free session right now. That's what this is.
I have heard similar stories from many people.
Okay. Makes me feel good on the inside.
This is your life. Live it the way you want to live it. Because when you die, all them people judging you and speaking in your head, they're not standing next to you when you're at them pearly gates. It's just you. And you only live once. So live your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I did. And like I said, I got over it. Obviously I'm married going on 10 years. So it'd be really weird if I was still.
I love. That's congratulations on 10 years.
Is it actually okay? No, it's actually 9 years this year, 10 years together.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
So we've been doing the damn thing for a while, so we do pretty good. What was I gonna say? What are some opportunities that you've been presented with that you would have never had the chance outside of the adult industry that have been like super impactful for you?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is 4 years ago, I started an underground suicide watch group for sex workers. Um, Probably wouldn't have been able to do that without the experience and wisdom that I have. But something a little bit more fun. I've been, other than just like the having fun parts, something I did because of porn that I wouldn't have been able to do originally. A good question. The perks are that, I get to go to conventions and sign autographs and meet fans. I could have done that if I had gone with mainstream acting. So like maybe I still could have been signing autographs and meeting fans. I've been in a lot of mainstream shows because of who I am today. Like Westworld and True Detective and, just
What
background
season
stuff.
of True Detective were you in?
Season 2, the big
Oh,
brothel house thing.
okay.
I'm in it a few different times, but if you really want to see me, when Rachel McAdams goes to throw up the pills or whatever, and she busts through the bathroom door, I'm washing myself at the sink when she busts the door open.
I remember that scene now.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Look at that. I never knew I'd be talking to a True Detective person.
Oh, well, there we go. I never thought I would meet Rachel McAdams.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she as nice as she seems? She seems nice.
She was very focused on her job, and when you are an extra, it is very important that you do not speak to the talent because they have lines in their head, they have emotions they have to like bring in for the scene. So it's really best to just leave them alone. But when she busts through the door on like the third take, my foot was sticking out too far and she banged the door into my foot and she said sorry.
There we
So
go.
she loves me and we're best friends now.
Yeah, that's like me and Joe Rogan. We're very, very good friends. We met each
Really?
other. We met each other right after his comedy show and took a picture with each other. And I'm sure he has it hanging in his bedroom like I do in mine.
Absolutely.
Even though I don't think I ever sent it to him. But like that's a running joke in our household. Like whenever I talk, because I talk, like obviously I was heavily influenced by Joe Rogan to do this, and my wife always says, like whenever I talk about Joe Rogan, I was like, oh, I was watching this episode of Joe Rogan. She's like, oh, your good friend Joe Rogan. I was, yeah, one and the same.
I like him. I'm a Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah, I think that he's kind of the person that kicked off the whole evolution of communication that I went on a 10-minute rant about a little bit ago.
Honestly, yeah, there are similarities. He brings people in from all different perspectives. He's not linear,
Mm-hmm.
and he lets people, whether he agrees with it or not, speak their truth.
Yeah,
and that's very entertaining to listen to because you're like, okay, that's one way of thinking about something. Or
yeah.
never thought about it like that. Okay.
Especially when they start talking about black holes, and I mistakenly had gotten high too early. Oh man, there are moments like I was listening to an episode of Joe Rogan where he was talking to a guy who was talking about the gravitational pull by black holes and stuff like that. And right after that, so I was already high, and then me and my wife decided to watch the movie Cars, and I had an epiphany about the movie Cars. Do you want to hear this epiphany?
Only if it involves Tow Mater.
Well,
He's my favorite.
So it definitely does. Cars is actually set in a post-apocalyptic world where computers have gotten rid of the people because they have been able to make the planes, boats, forklifts, cars, they're all sentient. So there's no need for humans. And so it's actually all post-apocalyptic, and it's all the remains of our world that they've continued to build upon.
Oh, that's That's very plausible. I mean, AI continues to self-develop and self-learn and self-grow and communicate with
Mhm.
other AI. So yeah,
Like there, I'm probably not
I'm
supposed to
with
talk
you.
about this for legal reasons at work, but I don't
Uh-oh.
think anybody at
Oh,
work
at work.
listens to this. So we actually just developed a
Don't
soft.
get in trouble. When in doubt, go without. He hesitated.
It's no. I'm thinking of the best ways to word it. We made an AI machine learning software that you can ask questions to, and
Mhm.
it will give you full paragraph answers that
Wow.
you can run through a plagiarism checker, and it comes back 100% clean.
Nice. That's
Like
great.
it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know, the closer that we get to things like that, and I'm like, oh man, how long is it until the computer just doesn't ask us to ask it questions, and then it just starts answering its own? Then you
One
end up.
day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna hear, and you're not gonna know where it's coming from. You're gonna hear, "Good morning, Hal."
Love the reference.
Did you know HAL is IBM? It's the first letter before IBM, HAL.
Oh shit. I did not know that, and now I feel foolish for. Oh man,
Well, now you can tell other people.
Kubrick was getting paid off. That's what it was. They were like, here, or he was trying to stick it to IBM. He's
I
like,
don't know,
yeah,
actually, because if IBM was paying him, I think that
they
it would
probably
have
would have
been
wanted the
"Good
name in
morning,
there.
Ibum."
Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh yeah, like the old George Lucas films. You're like, so the moon, right? It's a moon, right?
I just watched a YouTube video that went about trying to went over all the impossibilities of the moon landing being fake or computer generated in any
I
way.
love those YouTube videos. I
Like
love it.
it was actually really cool. I was like, oh wow, because they took away like any doubt of it being fake just by piece of my beard on my microphone. They broke it down by like the way that the dust would swirl when they would step. Like you can't create that without being in a vacuum. So therefore, like unless they created a set that is literally because of the way that the thing was shot, like the way that the moon is so much smaller than the earth, you can actually see the curvature at a closer drawing distance than on the earth. And so they're like comparing that if it was real or if it was faked, it would have to be on a set that is roughly the size of like I think they said like 8 Universal Studio lots. I was like, oh geez. So definitely think that it was
Yeah.
real. Maybe.
I
Right.
have a lot. We could spend an hour just on this alone.
So are you a doubter?
I don't particularly like that label.
Are you what is the best way to
There
say it?
are compelling, like,
Questioner?
oh, I'm always curious. I'm
There we
always
go.
curious. I always curious, and every time a new one of those videos comes out, they point out something totally different, and I'm like, well, maybe it was fake. Maybe it was real. Bottom line, I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
like
I do know that Buzz Aldrin was like, yo, there be aliens up there.
I mean, I think that in the last, 6 months, I don't know that there's really any doubt that there's aliens anymore. We live in
There's
crazy
been some
times.
really interesting things. Yeah, I'm a member of that community.
It's a
Like
good community to be a
I've
part
been
of.
to Alien Con. I've sat in on oh, what's this physicist's name? I've sat in on lectures that you wouldn't even understand what the heck they're saying, but you're like, that's right. Yes. What was his name? Oh, he's one of the best. Anyways, yeah, I follow CERN and all those things. Yeah. Just
uh,
gotta
me and
learn.
me and my wife argue constantly because she thinks that there's no possibility of aliens, And that just blows my mind. I'm like, how? You think that all that's out there, like in the whole universe, and even if there's a multiverse, you think there's no other like smart life, intelligent life forms? That's crazy.
Maybe her simulation's different.
That's another one that I subscribe to. Oh man.
Whole other one, right?
Oh man.
You're about to get high and just like go into a hole.
Dude, I have gotten high and thought in so deep about the simulation theory that this was like 2 nights ago. I was downstairs and I was like, oh, if this is a simulation theory and somebody's kind of controlling me like a sim from the video game The Sims,
Mhm.
I wonder what they're doing when like they put me on autopilot. Like, do they have a normal job? Are they a sim too? Like, is somebody controlling them? Oh man. Like, and I was like, I need to go lay down before I pass out. Like, I'll get so high and just start thinking of complexities of life and simulation theory and aliens. And I don't know. I like it though. I like it. I like the clarity of the brain fog that you get from thinking about things like that while intoxicated by the medicine, as I like to call it.
Enhanced.
So, gun to your head, do aliens exist?
Yes.
Okay, I respect that. So we'll get back to some more questions. We went off on a good one there. So back to being like a health coach. Do you like, we all know that you're supposed to get most of your supplements from your food and whatnot. Like that's where you should be getting most of your nutrients. But is there some supplements that you would say are like a go-to for most people? Like, so for me, I think that everybody can use a great bottle of Alpha Brain by On It. If you're watching this, I want you to sponsor me so badly. I love your products. I love your kettlebells. I love your pills. I love everything. So please, On It, sponsor me. Charlotte, go ahead.
I think everyone should take a good omega-3. I prefer the brand Nordic Naturals. I think everyone should take a probiotic. I can talk for an hour straight on the importance of bacteria. What a lot of people don't know is that their dopamine and serotonin are manufactured in the gut and manufactured off the good bacteria. So if you're constipated or having intestinal issues and you got brain fog or you're kind of depressed, they're linked. Just gonna throw that out there. Another thing I highly think everyone should take is a good trace mineral supplement, whether it's electrolyte packets, preferably with all 72 trace minerals, not just like potassium. Our soil is very depleted in minerals, and food is where we normally would get our minerals from, and we're not out in our gardens every day getting our hands in dirt. So I think minerals are very important, and for many reasons, they keep you alkaline. I'm going to say most because I don't like definitive statements, but most diseases can't survive in an oxygen rich alkaline environment.
Mm-hmm.
Also, minerals are conductive for electricity, and we are electrical beings. So let's get that energy going, right? Let's get that electricity flowing. And omega-3s are just great because they help your mood, they help keep your blood thin, they keep your joints lubricated, they help you think, they're great for depression and bipolar. And yeah.
Who is you said Nordic Naturals is who you prefer, right?
Nordic Naturals, and I prefer the one that's called Ultimate Omega because you get more EPA and more DHA per soft gel. And so then I just take one. And I don't take anything every day. Ooh, I will say, backtrack. The number one thing that we need as humans is vitamin C. We're the only, I'm using quotation marks for people that aren't watching. We are the only animals on planet Earth that does not manufacture vitamin C.
Really?
Polar bears make vitamin C, monkeys make vitamin C, dogs produce and manufacture vitamin C. We are the only living creature on this planet that do not produce vitamin C. It is very important. And I'm not talking that citric acid bullshit. I'm talking about like real vitamin C. Get it?
Wow, that is. I had no idea that other animals, all other animals for that matter, created it themselves. Do they produce it in the same way that we produce vitamin D?
I believe they make it in the liver.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I learned about this.
No
I learned
pressure.
about this in 2006 or 7, so it's
It's been a minute.
good to refresh the memory.
2006 or 7 to graduate high school again. Sorry, went back in time.
No, it's okay. I never had a senior year, so I don't know.
It's overrated anyways. I spent most of mine in Mexico, so I can't speak
Nice.
entirely on it.
I started college when I was 15 and a half. I didn't even have a driver's license yet. So yeah, I didn't go to prom. I didn't have a senior year. I didn't do any of that stuff. I was at school.
That was the life track that my mother always wanted for me. I remember she would always train me as a kid. Like I remember being like a wee tyke, and she's like, "Where are you going to be by the time you're 14?" I was like, "In college." And then by the time I hit 14, I was like, "Nah, girls are pretty and football's awesome, so I'm going to do this."
Yeah.
Like, and that was like, oh man, like, don't get me wrong, I love women, but man, they were my downfall. They were my downfall. I was my own downfall. I allowed myself to get distracted.
Yeah, it's okay. You do the best with what you know.
Yeah, and I had a good time. That's all that matters. Like you said,
Yeah, live your life.
like you said, when you're dead, it doesn't matter about the other folks around you. You just got to make sure that you're happy about what you made of the time that you had here. And I don't have many regrets. I have, like, obviously, like anybody, I think I have things that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known this before, but I don't think that can be considered a regret because it's not like it's not doing something.
It's a lesson.
Yeah.
You learn.
Yeah. You win or you learn, as I like to say. You don't lose.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. You win or you learn. Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna use that. Do I have to say trademark by Justin or anything?
No, that one's for free.
Okay, great.
Because I'm pretty sure I stole it from a book anyways.
That's why communication and talking to other people is so important.
Yeah, exactly.
Carry it with you.
Well, we've talked about quite a few pieces, and just like the last time that I talked to somebody from the industry, Will, it focused on the industry so little, and that's my favorite part about this is that people will tune in expecting one thing, they get to hear something totally different, which is really exciting for me. Like I think that
Yeah, I think you and Will talked a lot about mental health and sports. I think maybe jiu-jitsu or something.
yeah, we talked about mental health, theoretical.
Well, I was sitting next to him during it, but I was working on like taxes or something, so I caught bits and pieces.
Let's not talk about taxes.
Sorry, I said the T word.
You said the T word. I did mine last night, and
yeah, you did.
I do not like doing taxes.
Nobody does.
I miss being a contractor because being able to mark everything off was so nice.
Right.
Being a W-2 employee is just like, why can't I write this off?
Oh, start your own business.
I know I need to turn this into a business. So make sure that you subscribe, people, so that I can turn this into a business, so that I can write off my internet bill, my power bill, my everything, please.
And then bring me back on and we'll talk about aliens.
We'll talk. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Before I let you go though, I had one question that I saw in your Instagram bio. It says that you're a big fan of RPGs.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What is it? What is it about RPGs? And
I didn't even know you were going to ask this question.
so you go old school with it. Okay. Tabletop style.
Yeah, tabletop RPG, preferably. Is
There you
this
go.
my guy? No, that's Will's guy. Where's my guy? Oh, my guy is at my DM's house. But yeah, no, I super freaking love playing tabletop RPG, and my DM is like one of the most famous ones in the whole world. He wrote a bunch of books. He's the Charlotte Stokely of D&D, basically. But I don't say D&D because D&D is a trademark. You know how you have like Kleenexes and then you have tissues? Kleenex is the brand.
Yeah.
So I say tabletop RPG. But yeah, so I'm super lucky. I've been rolling Dungeons and Dragons for like 8 years now, and I love it.
What initially like got you interested in it?
Oh, I love fantasy. I loved reading books when I was younger. Anything that had a map. If the first few pages of the book were not a map, I didn't want to read it, unless it was a book about viruses or something, because I was very obsessed with viruses when I was little as well. And I just love that there's a sorcerer, and then there's like a barbarian, and then there's the rogue thief, and then there's like the elf, and like how they all had different elements and different things they brought to the table, and how they all had different strengths or weaknesses. And I loved how they all like came together. And in Dungeons and Dragons, you bring this group together. You can be any character you want. And it's like my one day out of the week where I'm not myself at all, and I fuck shit up and get treasure. It's great.
What is your character?
Currently, I am a barbarian.
Oh, there you go. Just going through and fucking shit
Into
up.
the fray. So when everyone else is afraid to go ahead, I'm like, I got this.
Like Leroy
Go into rage.
Jenkins.
Go into rage, and I just go. It's funny. Everyone makes fun of me because my characters are always named like Stokely. It just keeps it simple, you know. Good. I think my character right now might actually be called, damn it. Nope, Stokely. I am currently Stokely, the barbarian. I am a gladiator tiefling barbarian for this version of the game. But this is my book. It's full. This is like all my different games I'm in.
I'm gonna have you back on in a few months, and I want you to teach me about RPGs because I don't know enough. I don't know enough.
Oh, dang, son. You got to get on. Sometimes comic book stores will have a community D&D night.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can go and be like, I don't know how to play. What can I play? I have my own dice set.
You can't tell. I'm a huge comic book fan. I have comic book characters all up.
Oh, I see the Hulk. Cool.
Yeah, I got Hulk.
All right, last question.
Right there.
And I'm asking it.
Okay.
Who would win in a fight? Godzilla or the Hulk? Take your time.
I'm gonna say, are we talking about old version of Godzilla? Or are we talking about the modern, like beefy boy Godzilla?
Godzilla with the lasers. Doesn't he have like a mouth laser?
Are you talking about Mecha Godzilla?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm gonna still go Hulk because he's big, but he's not too big, and he's still really freaking agile. The only person to ever really beat the Hulk was, well, Thor in that one movie, and then also Thanos in that one movie. And Thanos had like a glove. He cheated. So I'm still giving it to the Hulk.
That wasn't Thanos. That was Thanos with extra things.
Yeah.
You know, it's take the gloves off. Who wins?
Yeah. Because if there was no glove, then Hulk would have tore Thanos apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a big Hulk fan. Big Hulk.
Yeah. I like Hulk. I like my personal favorite from like the Marvel universe is Colossus from the X-Men. he turns his entire body into a metal, totally indestructible.
Vaguely remember.
He's he's upside down, but that's him, right?
Oh, he looks cool. Yeah, I don't really know that character very well.
But yeah,
Interestingly enough.
look
'Cause
him
I
up after this because he's very cool.
I will.
He's Russian. When he gets mad, he just turns his body into this indestructible metal, and then he just wrecks tanks and shit. He's a great
Dang.
character. But
I thought I had it all, but now I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
well, thank you for asking me the final question. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said, I just love getting to know people. And I like that this is kind of like, I'm looking at all of these as like setting the groundwork for just my new friends. And then we're going to have another conversation and we're going to be able to get real deep on the black holes and the simulations and the aliens. I mean, but next time that we talk, like we might be having, first contact. Who knows?
Haven't we already? I
First
think we should bring
documented.
Will. I haven't we already?
Okay.
When we do that, we should make it a 3-way and bring Will on board as well.
Yeah, I wanna make it out to LA area, and like I'm setting up a bunch of different interviews and whatnot. And when the world is back to normal and everybody's ready for more human interaction, it's going to be a good time. I would love to talk to you both and just like get that dynamic between you two, because you guys have a great dynamic that you can see through the pictures on Instagram and everything like
Aww.
that. So you guys just seem like a fun couple, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. This was Charlotte Stokely. She was just in. It was a great time. Remember,
go to charlottestokely.com.
go to charlottestokely.com, and we will sign off with that. Peace.